Yes.
Welcome to the discussion segment of this Thursday's edition of Morning Flight on OGBC 90.5 FM. And it's no longer news that Nigeria and China have renewed a 15 billion yuan, that is $2 billion currency swap agreement or arrangement designed to boost trade and investment between the two countries. According to the People's Bank of China, the facility will help strengthen financial cooperation and expand the two currencies. It was revealed that the arrangement or the agreement would help reduce reliance on the US dollar, stabilize Nigeria's foreign reserves, while spurring trade and investment. President Bola Tinubu has therefore the Chinese government to increase the $2 billion currency swap between Nigeria and China to enhance trade.
Yeah, most definitely. This love the morning. We're taking a look at the benefits of Nigeria's currency swap with China. You understand? That will take into the way we used to speak Chinese and we entertain them and the impact they've been making on our soil here in one way or the other economically. So when we look at currency swap this time around, it is not a bad thing to look at. And according to what you just said, Emmanuel, in response to the president's request to increase the $2 billion currency swap, the People's Republic of China's government says it would consider Nigeria's request to expand the bilateral currency swap agreement. China's Foreign Minister Mr. Wang Yi revealed this after meeting with President Bola Tinubu in Abuja. He aimed at 2018 between the People's Bank of China and the Central Bank of Nigeria. The swap was valued at 15 billion Chinese yuan, equivalent to about 720 billion naira. The agreement was meant to help stabilize Nigeria's foreign reserves while spurring trade and investment between the two nations. Now, the question this morning what exactly is currency swap? Are these benefits? What are the benefits attached? Why do countries engage in currency swap? Who benefits more from a currency swap? This and many more will be our focus this Thursday on the edition of Morning Flight on your down station OGBC 90.5 FM. And our resource person is already in the building this lovely morning. Resource person is none other than the usual voice you've been listening to on 9.5 FM, especially every morning during the discussion segment of the Morning Flight. Raila joins us this morning. The I guess you've been elevated from regional.
I'm a news editor of Business Day.
News editor of Business Day this time around. Thank you, Cecil, for joining us.
It's nice to be here again this morning.
Razak, I would have on a lighter note this morning because you being a resource person about this Chinese something, I would have loved to communicate in Chinese language that which means
it's unfortunate we don't understand. We cannot speak Mandarin as it is in Nigeria today. But I think with the agreement now, we should be speaking Mandarin because they need our own language too, and we also need their own language too.
Yeah. So
looking at currency swap,
yes.
If you look at economy internationally in the whole world, countries of the world are interdependent, and that's the reason we trade together, we sign agreement together, and we do a lot of things together. Just imagine if Nigeria doesn't have any agreement with any countries of the world. We are producing crude oil, we are having solid mineral, and all other things. We cannot sell them because we don't have agreement with other countries of the world. That's the reason economically no country can isolate itself to say I want to develop on my own. No, it's not possible because what you are producing, you need to sell it out. You have to buy what you don't have. So that's the reason we are interdependent. We don't have vehicles and we are riding cars. We don't have machineries and we are producing goods. So we need to buy all those things abroad. Then abroad, some of them don't have crude oil. They need to buy from us. Some of them have gold. Some of them don't have gold. They need to buy from us. So that is the reason the economy of the world are interdependent. So we need to trade with each other. But when you are trading, you must choose those you want to trade with, so that it will be a mutual benefit, not that somebody is benefiting while somebody is losing. In the case of Nigeria and the countries that we're dealing with now, some people are benefiting while some are losing. I give you an example of US, for instance. In US today, what we have as dollar to naira today is about 1,650 or 1,700 at any market. Now, what that tells you is that if you're buying anything in US today, if that thing is sold for $1,000, which should be equivalent of 1,000 naira of Nigeria if things are going on perfectly, you are going to pay 1.7 million naira. So what that tells you is that one country is gaining while the other is losing. So that is the reason you need to choose those you want to trade with, so that you're not going to have or record every time what we call terms of trade deficits. Because if what you are buying from them is always bigger than what you are selling to them, then there's what we call trade disequilibrium. So what you are recording is that the trade is favorable to US, while the trade is favorable to Nigeria. So that is the reason we need to choose who do you want to trade with if we are trading. Now, for Nigeria to have come with URMB, URMB is just like naira that we spend in Nigeria. It is called URMB in China. So that is the money they spend there, and this money is very, very important to the world market. Why? In world market or world economy, we have 5 reserve currencies that everybody must trade with across the world. And these 5 reserve currency, URMB is one of them. If you look at 5 reserve currency, we're having dollar at the uppermost. We're having pound sterling. We're having euro. Then we have what we call Japanese yen, and we have Chinese yuan RMB. The 5 of them are in what we call world currency baskets. That is, for anybody that want to transact internationally across the world, you must use one of these currencies, or call it reserve currencies, for you to transact. So now you decide which one do you want to adopt in all this that will be beneficial to your economy. Because don't forget, all over the world, even if you are going to Saudi every year for Hajj pilgrimage, Nigerians will pay. We are going to pay Saudi in dollar, not in their riyal. Why? Because riyal is not a reserve currency, so it's not what they spend across the world, and naira is not a reserve currency. So for us to trade between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, we need dollar, and that's the reason everybody, when they want to go for Hajj, they'll be looking for dollar, because they know that is what they need to transact business when they get to Saudi Arabia. The same thing, if Saudi Arabia are coming to Nigeria, they need dollar to transact in Nigeria. But what our present government or immediate past government is trying to do is that the appetite for dollar, we want to jettison it, because it doesn't pay us that since we have been trading with them. If it is paying us, the rate will not be, the gap will not be too wide. Yeah. So that is why we need to look at the one that will be very beneficial to us. So going for yuan renminbi and Nigerian money, what that means is that the two countries have agreed to be trading in their local currencies. That is yuan renminbi and naira. And in doing that, it means that we're going to have business dealings more with China than US. And don't forget, even what they are doing in US today, a large number of that are being done by China and Japan. But because of the fact that they are very good economically, they invite investors to their economy so that they can produce. While they are producing, they are selling in their own currency to make profits. So this increases the remittances to their economy. But in the case of Nigeria, that will depend so much on everything. We are not economically stable because Nigeria, as is where today, cannot produce toothpick. Therefore, if you are to import, then you want to pay money, and you are building the economy for which you are importing good from. So that is what we want to correct with UNMB. So UNMB now coming on board, what that means is that the economy of Nigeria and China will be interdependent. What we use in Nigeria, even before now, during Buhari government, you will see that we have had a partnership with them on rail line. They have a concession, they are the concessionaire of our rail line. Lagos, Abeokuta, Ibadan, Abuja, Kaduna, rail tracks. They have been the one managing it for us in Nigeria. And we are on concession. That's the reason you see them, even our solar panel, our touch in various homes, our that and this, they are done in China. So if we are now saying trade with you using dollar again, because we know that if we trade with you, we are having a dollar as a third party, as a middleman, because US, there's no way you want to trade with China without going through US, because we use what? We use their own currency to trade with China. Meanwhile, this thing is done by China, but we use that because that is what is acceptable and recognized around the world as part of the reserve currency. So what we're supposed to buy at 500 naira, we end up buying it at 2,000 naira because we need dollar to transact between us and China. So that's the reason that Nigeria is losing. Meanwhile, some of our suits, shirts, this thing we are buying from them, even jeans, they are China made. Even tires that we buy, they are China made, but we have to go through dollar
before you get there.
So going through dollar is that you want to build US economy before it gets to China. That's what it means. So what when we sign swap agreement with them, what that means is that we want to remove a middleman.
Yes.
The US dollars.
With US dollar and deal directly with them.
China.
Today, the most you will get as URMB to Naira is 215 Naira. So let's assume they are selling something for us for 1,000 yuan. If you have to convert it to Nigerian money, it's still something that you can afford. Unlike when you convert it to 1,700 Naira. So this is what they are trying to do. They want to take that dollar dominance in the world market. And Nigeria is choosing the partner they want to trade with. And that is what we are doing now. You can imagine in 2023, the Nigerian Nigeria budget was 21 trillion naira. And when we had the trade forum that we had with China in that year, it was bigger than our budget. It was 23 trillion naira. So if you are to look at that, that means for the whole year, for the whole year, it's the trade forum, our trade forum with China is bigger than our budget. So we cannot wait again. Let's sign the agreement. Let's begin to trade with China, with yuan and RMB, so that this will silence naira, dollar dominance on our economy.
And the middlemen as well.
Because I'm too low heads, I have a lot of things, statistics in my head.
Yes.
Statistics
Razak Ainla, we'll be talking about the Nigerian China currency swap deal, the URNP. Now, there is this notion going about amongst Nigerians that the currency swap deal with China will boost bilateral trade. What's your take on this?
Yeah, definitely. Don't forget, China is one of the biggest economy of the world, and they are one of the biggest securities of the world. Don't forget, China is part of the five security council at the UN. If you have US, you have UK, you have France, you have China as part of that, because they are part and parcel of the Security Council in the whole world. Now, with their economy now, they are going side by side with US. US is having about 29 trillion dollar economy size, while China is having 18.9 trillion dollar economy size. In terms of technology, China is ahead US. In terms of warfare, of course, you can give it to US because they are actually getting more of their money from weapon sales. So if you take them side by side, they have what Nigeria need. It's now left, the both of them have what Nigeria need to succeed. It's now left for us to decide which one to choose between the two. And Nigeria is choosing rightly by choosing China, because as of today, the gap between yuan and naira is still is still very close. Unlike when we talk about dollar in thousands. Another one is that if you look at China, I'll give an example of a former governor or government of Ogun State. You will see that during the tenure, 8 years tenure of such person or such a fellow, he used more of CCCEC to construct road. Why do you think he did that? Because he got that cheaper than the like of Julio Beggar and some other. So that's the reason you could see that that government everywhere you see CCCEC constructing. So because he got it cheaper than what you get from other. So what you get from China, it's cheaper. And Nigerians are scared that Shinko things is not last, does not last long.
I was
I am
about
I
to
am
talk
I am
about
I am coming to
reliability.
that. Shinko thing is not, it is what you give them to do for you. That's what they will do for you. So it is in Yoruba they will say whatever expectation you give them to do for you, that's what they will do for you. So most of Nigerian businessmen, they are go to China to trade, to produce things. They will tell them because they know that Nigeria we don't have any certification, we don't have any regulation. So they will just say, do it for them, they will sell it. Whenever we give it to them, whenever we sell to them, Nigeria will trust Nigeria will buy it. And that's the reason, even laptops, even televisions that we use here, the one they use, the quality they use abroad is different from what we use in Nigeria. Compare your laptop that you are imported, they call it Sokumbo or they call it second hand, compared to the one you buy new
Brand new.
you will tell they will see that there's difference in terms of ruggedity, in terms of speed and some other things. Why? Because Nigerians we are not that patriotic. When we go to China tech company to do something, a particular thing for us, we will look for the cheapest one because we know that there's no regulator in Nigeria. So when you bring it in, Nigeria will surely buy it.
Or maybe
so
their lowest quality is our best.
Is our best. So for us to say that we will not get the right thing in China is a big lie. It depends on who is negotiating with them. It depends on what terms you are giving them and conditions. So Nigerians, we should be patriotic and we should embrace this because this in the long run will benefit all of us.
Okay, Razak, let's open the phone lines this love of the morning. 0803-437-9453 and 0815-032-0226. Akomatu area say this currency swap will it not put Spinal Station OGBC 9.5 FM. It's now 20 minutes to 9. We still have our public affairs analyst, Razak, in the studio station of the morning. Razak, let us take a look at. Okay, we have caller this morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brothers, gentlemen of the press.
Good morning, sir.
What a fantastic submission from Razak this morning.
Thank you, sir.
You are really opening our eyes to a lot of things we don't know. One would have thought that products of China are not really superior, not knowing that it is what we people are negotiating for that they are giving us. And of course, that Chinese money is one of the reserved currencies of the world. And if we swap with them, that will give us a better arrangement and cheaper
Purchasing power.
instead of using dollar. And that is why dollar has been going up and up and up.
Yes.
I to remember when the dollar was 75 kobo, Nigerian currency. Later, it became 1 to 1.
Yes.
Because of dependence on the use of dollar,
Yes.
the thing just continued to rise.
Nice.
So what is now 1,700? That's 2 million. And for us to swap currency with China, that will give us a better trade arrangement. Thank you very much for really engaging us in the awareness of what is happening.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir. Thank you, sir.
0803-437-9453 and 0815-032-0226.
Now, Razak, let us take a look at being in the with this swap, not put us in the bad books of the Americans. You know, sometimes primarily we recognize them as the best partner in business. Now, the Chinese are actually coming into the pictures, but that will be answered after this call. Hello,
Good morning. Thank you for joining
It is
us.
Emmanuel, sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much, when I say that whether that is giving their share, I believe now that my senior citizens like what they were shaking and
Am I bearing me?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your contribution. Too.
Yes, you're talking about we might be in black book of America.
Yeah, in the
if
black books
that's
of
what's done.
Americans.
What I think Nigeria should do, we're already doing it. There's no way that America will not hate us if we are successful with this plan, because one way or the other, have already off the hook. One of their customers or clients has been off the hook.
One of the biggest.
So one of the biggest has been off the hook. So, but what we need to do, Nigeria's already doing it. Don't forget, last week they signed an agreement with US. I'm talking about Nigerian government on military training and weapon manufacturing with each. So those are the things that America is giving us more in terms of intelligence, security, and of course supply of hardware. Now Nigerians have gone a bit further by ensuring that Chinese are training Nigerians, soldiers and Nigerians how to produce their hardware. They've signed that agreement too, and at the same time, they've also signed an agreement on military training in such a way that the way America is world power, China is world power. So they will train us, we will have a lot of relationship with them, and of course, we will be producing hardware that we need in this country. And another thing is that if you get our trade policy very well, we'll not go camp in hand to IMF, the World Bank, to borrow us money, where America has influence.
Good morning. Good morning.
This is Nicholas. I'm Emmanuel.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Will I be saying the truth if I say only Allah gives submission and it can be faulted?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Will I be saying the truth that it is academic for us to critique submissions?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. In 1963,
yeah.
4-5,
yeah.
The economy of Eastern Nigeria, have any emeritus professor alive who is over 80, was more prosperous than the Chinese economy.
Yeah.
Eastern Nigeria alone.
Yeah.
In 1970, Gabon and Nigeria did not care about the price of a pound or a dollar.
Yeah.
Cannot divorce economic prosperity from political talents, from political, intention. Anywhere in the world, whether it was when JFK took Americans to the moon, or Shankara brought bad pride to Burkina Faso. I disagree with your hasty generalization that Nigerians are unpatriotic. There are Nigerians that are patriotic, my very friend. Now, those at the border, at the port of entry, who allow these things to come to the country, are they patriotic? Whether from China or whether it is tramadol, like that's the drug queen got in to kill our youths. Are they patriotic? Anyway, if every businessman in the world likes to cut costs, this is true. But it only becomes treasonable when it is at the cost of human life. If you will use water to run your studio, you will use water and save and not buy fuel.
Okay.
If you are not both putting on an Italian suit of $1.5 million, you can put on an Aba suit or an Itogo suit.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Because of our time.
Thank
you very much.
I like Nicholas' submission. And of course, the way he's talking, in fact, at a point in time, the Eastern economy was buoyant. Why was it? It's because of the fact that we have some Igbo guys who are having that technological knowledge and expertise. And of course, what did they get? Government did not sponsor, did not finance it. So it will be very hard for them to produce something that is acceptable. We have innocent. How many of Nigerian governors are patronizing innocent? So we just need to be truthful to each other that Nigerians to do things we so much like what we import than what we produce locally. But at the detriment of what? Of everybody. But when we are now going for, we know that it will be very hard for us to win our appetite for foreign things. Therefore, let's choose the partner that will still be very minimal in terms of what they charge us or what we pay. That will be cheap or cheaper than what we get from America. And that is why we are doing analysis, a comparison between Nigeria economy with America and Nigeria economy with China. So for us to have China in place, last week I said they signed agreement with China on what? On arms production. In production of arms, I know our Igbo guys will be the top in terms of who they are going to train, because we are going to have more Igbos to fit in the system. So let's have them here to train our guys, to transfer knowledge and technology, so that our people will be empowered to do things for the benefit of all of us. It is enough of bringing in expertise abroad to come and run our refinery. It is enough to import hardwares because we want to find common neighboring brothers, and we have to go to America to import hardwares. So this is very, very important, that we must look inward and deal with partners that are progressive, not the one that are retrogressive. So dealing with America at this point is not favorable. Look at all the indices that are favorable, economic indices. What we buy in America is too much expensive
Now,
for us to maintain.
As we are costing home on this week's edition of the program, I want us to take a critical look at, apart from the economy and the defense you just mentioned being those things that we can benefit from China, what are those areas that you think that we can explore in terms of relationship with China as well as other economic?
Before now, China and today, the reason why that increase in the cassava ships to their country for food and some other industrial use, we have very good arable lands that China can invest in. They can bring their investors to produce, process. Not that you just export raw materials. No, let them process it here so that you create job for us and we'll get more money in terms of creation for Nigeria economy. So all these things must be well channeled in such a way that our three policies must be up and doing. The first policy is fiscal policy, second is monetary policy, and the third is trade policy. If this we are getting right, and with what Tinubu is doing, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, last year we recorded, for the first time in the last 15 years, we recorded what we call the balance of payment surplus. What that tells you is that what we import is far lower than what we export for the year 2024. Why? Number one is that we don't have enough money that time to buy foreign things. All of us will go local. Some of us who are eating foreign conflicts, foreign beef rate, we go local because there's no money to buy it. And that's the reason that reduce our what? Our import bill. Another one is that Nigeria, because of what happened to us during COVID-19 and during the suffering hardship of economic hardship and inflation, we now look inward and produce some of those things we did not produce before. We are producing now in Nigeria, we are producing nose mask. Don't forget, during COVID-19, we were importing. So we are now producing nose mask. During COVID-19, we were importing as hand sanitizers. So we are producing all those things now. The toothpick, we have some company that are producing in Nigeria now. So some of these things are being domiciled in Nigeria now. That tells you that our economy is improving, although we are still suffering because it cannot translate immediately. So there are what we call the short, medium, and long-term planning. Economic plan. That is what we are doing, and we need to thumbs up this man. Hate it or like him, is using his economic policy and economic expertise and financial prowess to rejig Nigeria. I am not saying he's doing well, but it is now for all of us to judge whether he's doing badly, ugly.
Razak, we can continue on and on this conversation. I want to believe that another 1 hour may not even be enough for us.
Yeah, that's just it. That's just it.
I believe that maybe we would say that this should be.
That's what we do in business day every day.
It's the analysis. Then maybe we'll continue part day some other time. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Razak Ayila is the editor, is an editor with Business Day and also a public affairs analyst. We wish you all the best in all your endeavors.
Thank you.
And we want to acknowledge the input of the production crew this morning.
The editors in the newsroom, Olabisi Musari and Elizabeth Kuforiji. We have Daniel Okechoko, the ICT man, and also not forgetting the studio manager, Datsun Edowu. This is a production of Kemi Shofolawe Choko. I am Emmanuel Adebanjo, wishing you a nice day.
Temitope Babalola is my name. Please do have a beautiful Thursday morning. We love and appreciate